"Don't wait up," my wife said to our daughter when I was sitting right there. I was literally at the table, fork in hand, chicken still steaming, no eye contact, no glance, just that sentence, followed by the two of them giggling like they were roommates in on a secret. It wasn't even the words, it was the certainty, the way they walked past me, laughing, coats already on, as if I were a houseplant. That was day 30, 30 days of being spoken around, not two. They'd stopped saying my name, started referring to me like I wasn't in the room. He's probably asleep. He's probably on his computer. I was 10 feet away. Quick aside, if this story hits even a little, hit subscribe. Helps us keep these stories alive and breathing. Back to the gut punch. I asked once if they wanted me to come with them to tour the college. "Oh," my daughter said. She blinked. "We already went." They'd gone 2 days earlier, while I was home, on a Saturday, not a word. That's when it started clicking into place. The cold dinner plates, the shut doors, the muffled laughter behind walls that used to be mine. I tried to joke, said something like, "I should start charging rent if I'm just a tenant." My wife didn't even look up. She just said, "Can you not make this about you?" I stopped talking after that, started noticing the patterns. They'd eat before me, wash their own dishes, pause conversations when I entered the room. I tested it once, set my phone recorder on the counter, left the kitchen, then came back in 5 minutes early. Silence. My daughter glanced up, startled. My wife changed the subject so fast it was almost funny. Whatever they were hiding, it wasn't accidental, it was calculated. And here's the thing, they didn't yell, didn't accuse, didn't say anything. They just erased me, slowly. Day 30, I sat down, said, "I was thinking we could all go out to dinner, my treat." No response. My daughter was on her phone. My wife flipped the page in her magazine. So I stood, took my wallet, my keys, walked past them. They didn't look up. They didn't ask where I was going. I opened the front door, paused, still nothing. I shut it behind me, got in the truck, didn't take a bag, didn't even grab a jacket, just drove. No destination, no plan, just one thought on repeat. If I died tomorrow, would they even notice? And for the first time in years, the silence felt honest. The first night, I slept in the truck, parked behind a shuttered diner off Highway 68, curled up with a hoodie as a pillow and the hum of the refrigerator unit behind the building as company. Didn't dream, didn't cry, just existed. By week 2, I'd made it up to a mountain town no one in my old life had even heard of, population under 1,000, no chain stores, no signal unless you stood on a ridge and begged the sky. I found a flyer taped to a laundromat bulletin board, help needed, hardware store, cash only, no BS. Perfect. Guy who ran it was missing 3 fingers and didn't ask questions, paid me daily from the register. I rented a room above the store from his cousin, $75 a week. Peeling linoleum, twin bed, hot plate. I handed her the cash in an envelope, no name. She never asked for one. They called me Old Man Tech after a while, even though I was 57. No one cared where I came from. No one gave a damn that I used to run system architecture for a defense contractor. It was beautiful. I'd forgotten how good it felt to disappear. No emails, no texts, no bills with my name. I bought used books from a charity box, left a 5, took 3. I hiked, started with hour-long walks, then longer. One day I just kept going, found a trail with no name and followed it until my legs gave out. Sat on a ridge and listened to the wind. That's when it started again. The breathing, the living. I read field manuals, learned knots. Eventually, one of the park rangers asked if I wanted to help out with school groups. Just small hikes, keeping kids from falling off ledges. I took the course, got certified. The ranger laughed when he saw my ID application. "You want us to just put Mark?" "Yeah," I said, "just Mark." Meanwhile, back in the other world, my wife filed a missing persons report. I know this only because a sheriff came into the hardware store one day and showed my photo to the boss. Boss squinted. "Never seen him." Sheriff left. Case closed in 3 months. Apparently no blood, no body, no crime. Just absence. My daughter posted selfies with beach sunsets and boys in sunglasses. I didn't look, but the ranger mentioned she stumbled across her TikTok. Said, "She dances like she doesn't miss anyone." Good, because I wasn't missing her either. I spent 2 years building a cabin with my own hands, used scrap wood and leftover nails from the store, hauled water, cut firewood, made mistakes, learned fast. It wasn't fancy. No Wi-Fi, no plumbing, just space and peace and silence I chose. I used to think being alone meant failure. Now I knew better. It meant I'd finally stop begging to be seen by people who'd already looked away. The first time I met Elijah, he kicked a rock so hard it split his boot. Didn't flinch, didn't cuss, just limped the rest of the trail like pain was a dare. 16, maybe 17, hoodie up in July, arms like fence posts, eyes like locked doors. The other teens joked, whined, flirted. Elijah walked 10 paces behind all of them, alone by choice. We were supposed to be doing trust building, which is rich when most of these kids couldn't trust a sunrise to show up. I didn't push him, just pointed out poison ivy, offered him a second granola bar when he thought no one was watching. Next week, he came back. Didn't say a word, but he came back. That was the pattern for a while. He'd show up, arms crossed, posture screaming off, but he never missed a single hike. I started assigning him small roles: lead scout, first aid kit monitor, trail log recorder. He didn't roll his eyes. He didn't argue. He did them. One afternoon, I caught him fixing another kid's bootlace mid-trail. Just a grunt, a tug, and he moved on. Didn't want credit. Didn't know how to receive it. We started talking. Little things at first. Hiking boots, knife sharpening, how to read clouds for rain. Then deeper. How his mom used to lock him out when her boyfriend got ugly. How he slept in a tent for a month behind the Dollar Tree. "How long you been out here?" he asked once while stirring instant oatmeal over a campfire. 5 years, I said. He nodded, didn't pry. The next month he asked if I could help him prep for the GED. We sat at the ranger station twice a week going through math books with ripped covers. I told him he could do better than staying stuck in that town. He told me I didn't know anything. He passed anyway. Applied to a small college 3 towns over. Got in. Said, "Can't afford it though, so..." And before he could finish, I handed him a folded check. Didn't let him see my name on it. Just said, "Don't waste it." He didn't. He went, and came back on weekends to help me teach the younger groups. We weren't father and son, not in the conventional way. But when the park hosted a community dinner and someone asked who he was there with, Elijah didn't hesitate. "That's Mark," he said. "He's my people." That line stuck, because it reminded me of something I'd stopped believing years ago. Family isn't who shares your roof. It's who shows up again and again, even when there's no applause, even when it hurts. I'd lost my old life, my old blood, but somehow, on a dusty trail with a silent kid and a sack of trail mix, I found something real, something worth staying for. Thick envelope, no return address, hand-delivered. I was sorting trail maps behind the desk at the guide center when Beth, the ranger, dropped it on the counter. Guy in a navy blazer handed it to me. Didn't say a word, just left. I flipped it over. Cream-colored cardstock. My full name, Mark Everett. Not Dad, not Honey, not even Hey. Inside, one ivory invitation, the kind you see in magazines next to overpriced flatware. The bride, Dr. Savannah Elise Everett. The groom, Dr. Andrew Whitmore. Venue, Ridgeline Country Club. Date, 3 weeks out. Folded inside was a smaller handwritten note, my wife's handwriting, that smug, cursive loop I hadn't seen in 5 years. "We'd love for you to walk her down the aisle." No punctuation, no apology, no context, just assumption. Like I'd been on some long fishing trip and would come home clean-shaven and grateful to be summoned. Elijah walked in mid-silence and caught the look on my face. "You good?" I handed him the note. He read it once, didn't say anything for a minute. Then, "She write that like you just popped out for milk?" I nodded. We didn't talk about my past much, but he knew enough, knew there were ghosts. "What are you gonna do?" he asked. I looked out the window. Snow still clung to the treetops. The trail signs I'd built were all still standing. My cabin, my boots, my damn life, all mine now. And they thought I'd drop it all. For them. That night I laid the envelope on the table and stared at it over black coffee. The more I looked, the angrier I got. Not red-hot rage, but that sharp, surgical kind. Not once in 5 years had they tried. Not a call, not a letter, not a goddamn email. And now they wanted a photo op, a symbolic daddy to complete the aesthetic. I ran my thumb along the edge of the RSVP card. There was a box to check. Will attend, regretfully declines. But what I wanted was another option entirely. You don't get to rewrite history because the dress fits. I didn't sleep, didn't need to. I wasn't shocked, just aware. They hadn't changed. They'd just gotten older. And I wasn't theirs anymore. I was something else now. And whatever they thought they were inviting, they had no idea what was walking through that door. I had the envelope in my hand, lighter in the other. The cabin smelled like pine, rain, and kerosene from the old stove. Perfect night to forget the past in a controlled blaze. One flick of the wheel and that expensive paper would be ash. But my thumb hovered. Not because I cared, hell no, but because it felt too easy, too final. They erased me in 30 days. Maybe I needed 5 minutes to remind them what they lost. Elijah, I said when he walked in, shaking snow off his jacket. He saw the invite on the table, half creased, RSVP card still blank. Is that from them? I didn't answer. Didn't need to. He stood there a long moment, arms crossed, jaw tight, then softer. You never talk about them. I stared at the flame still flickering on the lighter. Nothing worth saying. He nodded, looked away, then looked back. If you're going, he said slowly, go as the man you are now, not who they remember. Don't bring your ghost. Silence. Then I killed the flame, took a breath, and nodded. Next morning, I hitched a ride to the city, walked into a department store that smelled like anxiety and perfume. Sales clerk gave me the usual once-over, flannel, boots, trail dust hair, probably thought I was lost. Wedding, I said. She blinked. Yours? I laughed. God, no. I pointed to a charcoal suit on the mannequin, slim fit, modern cut, nothing like the oversized mess I used to wear when I thought blending in was survival. Tailor it, today. She hesitated. You'll need shoes, too. Done. 3 hours later, I saw myself in the mirror and didn't flinch. Wasn't trying to impress, just wanted the armor to match the man I'd become. At the airport, I booked 2 seats, one under Mark Everett, the second under Elijah Reyes. He glanced at the ticket when I handed it to him. You sure? Yeah, I said. You're my +1. He grinned. Bet I'm gonna hate the shrimp cocktail. Probably, I said. Just don't punch the groom unless I give the nod. We boarded without a word, mountain behind us, storms ahead, and as we ascended, I realized I wasn't going for them. I was going for me, to stand there, look them in the eye, and prove I hadn't vanished. I'd transformed. The country club smelled like polished wood, money, and fake forgiveness. I stepped through the glass doors without a word. No RSVP, no call ahead, just the sound of my boots echoing across marble floors some other man probably paid for. Elijah flanked me in a tailored suit, same posture he wore on the trail, calm, watchful, not trying to fit in, just present. A waiter did a double take. 2 women near the ice sculpture whispered like they'd seen a ghost. Then I saw her, across the room, tan dress, burgundy heels, hair pinned up like time had done her a favor, but when her eyes landed on me, something cracked. She blinked like her brain needed buffering time, then her wine glass tilted slightly. Her fingers trembled. Mark? I didn't answer, just kept walking. She met me halfway, voice low, face twitching between a smile and a wince. You came? I nodded once, slow, measured. Where's the bride? I asked, like I was asking for the coat check. She's upstairs, she said. Her tone changed, like someone realizing the conversation wasn't going the way they'd storyboarded. You look healthy. I am, I said. You look surprised. Before she could answer, Elijah stepped beside me. She glanced at him, puzzled. He just raised an eyebrow. I could see her trying to put the puzzle together. Who he was. Why he was with me. Is he with you? Yeah, I said. He's the one who knows where I've been. Someone called her name from across the ballroom. She flinched. I looked around the room. Faces I didn't recognize. A slideshow flickering against a white wall. My daughter in a lab coat. My daughter skydiving. My daughter fake smiling in a graduation gown I'd never seen. All the milestones they airbrushed me out of. Why now? I asked. She opened her mouth, closed it, swallowed. We just thought it felt right. Right. Like stepping on a man's throat for 5 years and handing him a boutonniere made it okay. I kept my voice level. You assumed I'd just fall in line? Her face flickered. We didn't know how to reach you. You didn't try. A pause. I didn't think you'd show up, she whispered. You thought I'd crawl, I corrected. She didn't deny it. And in that moment, I didn't feel rage. I felt power, because the man she expected, the faded, forgotten ghost, was gone. What stood in front of her was someone rebuilt, unrecognizable, and uninterested in their script. They led me to a smaller room off the main hall, dim lights, heavy curtains, floral centerpieces trying to distract from the tension bleeding through the carpet. She followed, heels sharp against the floor like the sound could hold the moment together. Door closed, just the 2 of us. No music, no crowd, no buffer. She stood there for a beat, arms folded, then smiled that brittle smile I'd seen 1,000 times. The one she used to wear before telling me something was not that big of a deal. You look healthy, she said, voice soft, fake casual. I let the silence stretch, let her sit in it. Then, I am. I stepped closer, watched her fingers twitch around the stem of her wine glass. You look nervous. She blinked. I didn't know what to expect. You expected a ghost, I said. Not a man. She laughed, tight, anxious. You still talk like that. No, I said. You just haven't heard me in 5 years. She sat down, legs crossed too quickly. Mark, we didn't know how to reach you. You disappeared. I tilted my head. No, I left. You just didn't follow. Her jaw twitched. Savannah cried for months after you left. Is that what you tell people? She did. You sure it wasn't about the college tour you took without telling me? That shut her up. Before she could lie again, the door opened. My daughter stepped in. Savannah. I hadn't said her name in 5 years. Seeing her now, it didn't come back. She looked older. Not in years. In weight. That heavy-eyed hollowness people get when they've told the same lie too many times. Hair perfect. Dress perfect. Expression. Nothing. Hi, she said, like we were neighbors in a checkout line. I nodded. Just once. Didn't smile. Didn't hug. She glanced at Elijah, leaning by the door, quiet, watching everything. Her eyes scanned him like she was trying to place where he fit. He didn't move, didn't speak. I didn't think you'd really come, she said. No one did, I said. Not even you. She looked down. It's a big day. It's your day. Another pause. No apologies, no ownership, just these dull, clean lines delivered like a truce. You could have called, she whispered. You could have spoken. 30 days straight in that house, and I stopped existing while you smiled through it. She said nothing. I looked at both of them. This isn't closure. It's theater. You want me in the picture because it looks better framed that way. My wife winced. That's not fair. No, I said. What wasn't fair was disappearing in plain sight, and you both acting like I owed you silence for it. Savannah blinked. Her hands trembled at her sides. Are you staying for the ceremony? I came, I said. That's enough. Then I turned to Elijah. Let's go get some air. And just like that, without yelling, without tears, without a scene, I left that room colder than I'd ever been in my life, and somehow, lighter. The minister adjusted his mic, voice clear, solemn, overly rehearsed. Will the father of the bride please step forward? The room held its breath. Chairs creaked, phones hovered, all eyes turned to me. I didn't move, not a twitch, not a glance. I sat perfectly still, hands folded, face unreadable. Across the aisle, my ex-wife's face stiffened. My daughter blinked like the spotlight hit her too hard. The groom shifted, clearly confused. The minister cleared his throat, glanced down at his notes, then up again, unsure. Then a chair slid back behind me. Elijah stood. He walked with that quiet confidence he'd earned on every trail we'd climbed together. Press suit, boots polished, head high. A soft murmur spread through the crowd, like the air itself realized something was off. And then, from the opposite side of the room, a second door opened. Not the bridal suite, the other entrance. And there she was, Claire, Ranger Beth's daughter, hair in a braid, white dress simple, elegant, no glitz, just heart. Elijah smiled, held out his arm. She took it. Together they walked the aisle. People gasped. Whispers exploded. Someone said, "What the hell?" under their breath. A mother clutched her pearls. An aunt dropped her phone. And still I sat. Perfectly still. Because this wasn't Savannah's wedding. Not for me. This was Elijah's. Same venue, same hotel, same damn day. We'd checked the schedule a week before, noticed the overlap, booked the ballroom right next door. No coincidence, just intention. I didn't come to walk down their aisle. I came to walk beside the only person who'd earned it. The look on my ex-wife's face, that was the real gift. Realizing in real time that I hadn't forgiven them. I'd outgrown them. They didn't get their photo. They didn't get their redemption arc. They got to watch, and maybe, for the first time in 5 years, understand what it feels like to be invisible. The reception wrapped, lights dimmed. Elijah and Claire slow danced in the center while laughter and champagne spilled across the room like something earned, not performed, no choreographed toast, no fake tears, just people who actually knew each other. I slipped out early, quiet, no need for fanfare. The lobby was mostly empty, echoing with leftover piano music from the main hall. Then I heard heels, fast ones. She was half jogging across the marble, dress bunched in one hand, that same look of entitlement she used to wear when she wanted to corner me after a long day and remind me of everything I wasn't doing right. "You were never coming to our wedding?" she hissed. No hello, no beautiful ceremony, just accusation wrapped in disbelief. I didn't break stride, just replied, calm as ever. "You ignored me for 30 days. I gave you 5 years. She actually stumbled a little, like the math punched her. We didn't know how to fix it, she said, voice cracking. You just left. I stopped walking, turned. You made it so quiet I forgot I had a voice. Then you got mad when I used it to leave. Behind her, more footsteps. Savannah, different dress now, makeup smudged, eyes not red, but confused. She looked like she was about to present a science project she hadn't prepared for. Dad? The word landed like a stone dropped in the wrong lake. I didn't respond to it, not directly. She came closer, hands visibly shaking. Why? She asked, voice thin. Why, him? I looked at her, really looked, and saw nothing of me in her face anymore, just echoes. Because, I said slowly, I learned what family feels like. She blinked. That wasn't fair, she whispered. No, I said. What you did wasn't fair. This is just balance. She opened her mouth, closed it, tried again. You could have just told me. I did, I said. Every day I showed up and sat at that dinner table in silence, I told you. You didn't hear it then. You're hearing it now because it hurts you. She looked like she wanted to scream but didn't know the language anymore. My ex-wife stepped in again, voice rising. This isn't you, Mark. I smiled. No, it isn't. You just don't know who I became after you stopped looking. Elijah walked through the revolving door just then, gave me a nod. Time to go. I turned, didn't offer a hug, didn't drop a moral, didn't owe them closure. Some doors stay shut because what's on the other side isn't worth reopening. We pulled away slow, no rush, just the low rumble of the truck and the silence of two men who don't need to fill the space to understand it. Through the rear view, the hotel shrank to a shadow behind glass and marble. Somewhere inside, a DJ was playing the last songs of a night meant to be remembered, but not by me. Elijah was quiet, leaning back in the passenger seat, tie loosened, sleeves rolled. His hand rested lightly on a folded napkin, Claire's lipstick mark still faint on the corner. We reached the end of the drive, the valet booth behind us now, gravel turning back to pavement. At the hotel's front doors, I caught a flicker. Savannah, frozen behind the glass like a painting framed in regret. Her fiancé beside her, one hand on her shoulder, the other still in his pocket like he didn't know what to say, or worse, didn't care. She didn't wave, didn't cry, just stared, like maybe now, finally, she understood. But it was too late to unpack the past. I turned back to the road, didn't blink, didn't glance again. At the red light before the highway ramp, Elijah stretched, cracked his knuckles, then looked over at me. You good? I smiled, just faintly, just enough. Never better. He nodded, rolled the window down. Mountain air swept in, cool, sharp, clean. That was it. No grand speech, no swelling music, no final confrontation, just a clean break. And the road ahead, the kind of peace you don't get by winning an argument, only by walking away from the ones that were never worth having. I'd spent 5 years building something out of silence. Turns out it made a damn good foundation.